Noah Kaufman is the new director of sales at Strainprint, and Michelle Arbus is a researcher. And we're pleased to have both of these lovely humans here from Strainprint.ca. You're sort of recent hires with the company.
That's true. I've only been here for, I think this is my 3rd week.
Oh, wow.
So no hard questions, please. But it's been an amazing 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
I don't have any hard questions. Just like talking about the world of weed. I've been going through my weed renaissance for a few years now, since I gave up the demon sauce. Noah?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Right.
so that's how I came to understand Strainprint as the highest efficacy when it comes to, researching symptoms, putting people together with strains. And what about you, Noah? How long you been with the company?
This is 6 or 7 weeks in for me. So brand new, also new to the cannabis industry.
And what was the industry you were in before?
I'm a tech sales guy. I was selling a product to the automotive space prior to this, actually.
That's another thing people say, space. I hear that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's in the automotive space,
Yeah.
which is also low-hanging fruit, which is another thing
That's
people
another
say
one.
all the time.
Everyone, in
Yeah.
2018, everyone just says low-hanging fruit.
Oh, I think that was 2017.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what? You're probably right.
You know what? The one that I think the one that got retired about 6-7 years ago is at the end of the day. But I'm hearing a lot of guys bring that back. I'm hearing people bring it back, trying to get it into a conversation now, along with it is what it is.
I
I'm
haven't
not
heard that one in a while.
Yeah,
actually.
that's not
I
in
don't
my
know
world right now.
Really?
No.
Because my 6-year-old niece said it to me the other day, and it made me laugh so hard.
When it was popular, anytime someone would say to me, "It is what it is," I say, everything is what it is, and that would stump them. And they would look at me like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to this Hebrew anymore."
I believe they call that a tautology.
Tell me what that means.
Tautology.
Really? What's that mean?
Something that is like very true because it's true, kind of thing. Like,
Okay.
Hold on, a tautology.
yeah, it's spelled. There's a vowel in there that you wouldn't expect.
Yes,
by
there it
the
is.
way I'm pronouncing it.
There's topology. No. Did you mean topology? No, I didn't.
No, Google.
Tautology, redundant statements in literature and rhetoric, and it's spelled Tautology. Smart guy.
Sort of.
Very
Like, I'm
nice.
partially there to
What-
smartness.
If people, people are very familiar on the show. We've talked a lot about Strainprint and what it does, why it's so effective. But in your 3 weeks with the company, what is your opinion? What's your thoughts? What are you getting a sense of?
I think it's amazing what we're doing because we have so many people who are Strainprint users and they're logging their sessions with whatever symptoms that they're treating with cannabis. And we're able to actually see, certain strains made of certain components work for certain things for certain people. And I've really just starting to scratch the surface because we have a huge database. So I'm only 3 weeks in, but it's just incredible that it's not just like I'm going to smoke a joint for my headache. It's way more scientific and like complex than that.
Well, and it's not just for recreational use. It's also for therapeutic use. And that is sort of and we've had so many conversations about this, but the big wave that's coming. A lot of people, baby boomers, think that this is all about, I'm going to be able to buy some weed and it'll be great. It is, but as I've said, the real revolution is when you can go to Shoppers Drug Mart and get the tincture or the CBD or the distillate that you're looking for your symptoms, so that you're no longer buying all this chemical medication that people have used traditionally to treat so many symptoms.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. I think this is really about helping people to either true symptom relief, like when we talk about joint pain, anxiety, gastrointestinal issues. I mean, the list is exceptionally long, but a lot of the rhetoric that we're hearing now is around this notion of cannabis for therapy, therapeutic, wellness, holistic approach to life that is very much a boomer thing, but I think is going to stick around as a trend. And one of the things that I was hearing over and over as I was attending different conferences and such in my early days here, because now I'm a veteran 6 weeks in.
Yeah, exactly. You're such a noob.
Yeah.
Michelle's so new.
One of these things that...
Back in the old days in June, before you got here.
Twice as long as you.
So one of the things that we just keep hearing is this notion that, hey, what's the difference between sitting down and having a glass of wine, which is very socially acceptable at the end of the day, versus taking a half milliliter of tincture or smoking half a joint? And my dad, who's a boomer, said to me, I was explaining to him all these terpenes and the this and that. He says, no, what are the chances the thing that you're sneaking out to smoke in high school is the new garlic?
Absolutely, yeah.
I said, I know, it's great, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's the new
turmeric.
Well, and I got to tell you, because I am, years of. I mean, there's two things. The idea now that years ago, weed was just a thing. It was weed. There wasn't no indica, sativa. It's just, hey, you want some weed, and the idea now you can break it down symptomatically. And again, a lot of the rhetoric, as you say, around this has been about no longer having to sneak around and buy it. But what Strainprint has proven, and it continues to do, is that there is another aspect to this that's different than just weed access. It's symptom relief. And you guys, Amanda and her husband, when they're not, making magic, you've used cannabis to help your father-in-law.
Yeah, well, my husband is an insomniac. He has a podcast called The Insomnia Project, which is all about that.
And the second time it's been plugged on this program. I love that.
I'm saving myself by telling that story. Anyway, talks about it all the time, though, on there and in other forums, because he's an insomnia and person who has insomnia, and it's helped him so much in one strain. We've used it for a long time with his dad, who has Alzheimer's. And what's so refreshing is that finally we're in a place where we can pick the different strains, just as you were saying, Noah, because at first it was all very daunting for us, and we're trying to make, and you could get the oil and then you couldn't, and because of where we were in the even 5 years ago. So now it's really great because we're moving into this space finally where we're not trial and erroring so much. We have companies that can do that are dedicated to that. I mean, that is market research. I mean, that's what you're doing essentially. So it's just really exciting for us that we're not, making muffins in our small kitchen trying to figure it out, that someone can figure it out for us.
And I think, Michelle, that's typical of a lot of people that have been kind of wandering around, getting bits of information here and there. But with Strainprint, it's a place to go to get information that other people, users are sharing their experience.
Yes, and that's a big part of it too. So as a user, you can go on and see what works for other people for those symptoms, and it helps you navigate, what are you going to try and see what works for you. And I think just what we were saying about the whole using cannabis for wellness, we have a great team in the office that pulls together any story or any study where some really serious illness is treated with cannabis, and there's so many that I've read where it's nothing has worked. It's like epilepsy and really, really, really.
And people that have suffered for a long time and have not been able to get traditional medicine to help them.
Yes, exactly, and cannabis works. So it's just so exciting that we're able to help people and help them with their treatment.
Before Michelle leaves, I have to ask about this. It says that you renovate century homes.
Well, we've done one
with your surprisingly handy husband.
Good for you. Where?
Well, we just live in the Bloor and Bathurst, so the houses are 100 years old, and we've renovated for almost 10 years, maybe with a few months off here and there. So we had one guy who brought out this handiness in my husband that we never knew, and so he can I really have faith that he could probably build a house from scratch. Wait
a second, you and your husband have been renovating a domicile for 10 years?
From Bloor and Bathurst. That ain't,
it's old, 105.
Yeah.
No, I'm just more fascinated because I've been in a few long-term relationships where one day we tried to paint a room and everyone lost their shit.
No, they
for
say
days.
If you can handle a renovation, you're good.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys aren't so great at renovating if it's taking you 10 years.
He's handy. He's not quick.
Handy-ish. He's handy-ish.
We support Michelle a little. The thing with renovating is once you do one, then you're like, now it's time for this room. That's
Yeah,
me anyway.
It's just like the inside of the walls and the outside of the walls.
But
And then
that
there's-
is-
Do you have knob and tube in there?
Oh, that was.
What is it?
I could really.
Knob and what?
tube.
It's an electrical thing.
Say it again.
You've never heard that before?
Electrical
Knob and
wiring.
tube?
Okay, well, because I can't even hit knob and tube.
Yeah.
Is that a sex move? Is that what you people are up to?
Never heard this before.
Knob.
And tube. It's a
What does that
wiring.
mean?
Old wiring.
It's the old
But you have,
wiring.
like these. It
Oh,
looks
I see.
different.
Do you have knob and tube?
No, yeah.
You
Can't have it
We're-
anymore.
No, I mean but when you get into a 100-year-old home in Ontario, anyway, all the houses were knob and tube, and it's
Well, hang on.
you have to rip that all out.
Let me ask you a question. You got knob and tube over there in your Century
I
House?
can't believe you've never heard that.
I'm
got rid
from
of that.
Moose Jaw.
We got rid of it on day one, and that's what we thought was going to be. Okay, now we're done. And then 10 years later, we're like, I think we're done.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
The fact that in my marriage, we did this renovation. We did we did a basement. We didn't do it, but the basement was done whilst we were there, and it was a shit show.
Yeah,
like
it is,
months
yeah.
and months of just like losing our minds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you guys, I guess, have gotten used to the ruckus of renovation.
Yeah, and now we're done. And so we think if we ever had an opportunity, we would totally just do it ourselves
Wow.
if we had time.
Good for you.
Well, you won't have time now because you with Strainprint.
She's doing hot yoga.
She's
too.
doing
Where do you practice?
yoga.
Where do you go?
Well, that's another. If I have time, I
Yeah.
like to do it. I like moksha.
I
She's a moksha instructor.
used to be.
Namaste.
Long time ago, I went on a sabbatical. Acting put me on a moksha sabbatical, and then I never got to go back. But for like 4 or 5 years, I taught. Yeah,
I do love it. It's just
Yeah.
hard to find time.
I know, right? Me too.
All right. Strainprint.ca. Michelle Arbus and Noah Kaufman. Excuse me. Great to have you here, and hopefully not for the last time. Noah, we'll continue this conversation. We always encourage people to download the app if you haven't used it yet. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, but it really is something else. It's simple to use, and the great experience that other people are having may inform the experience that you want to have.
I love these two.
Okay.
So great. Religious studies degree he has. Tautology. Tautology this.
Noah brought that. Thank you. Did you have a nice time?
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh, my gosh. It was our pleasure.
No, come back.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
guys. Great to meet you.
Noah
Really fun.
and,
Bye.
Michelle, very nice. Off you go.
to clap ourselves?
No, yeah, I don't know. This is just,
Okay.
you know, there's always that awkward moment where we say goodbye and we're like, okay, well now you just kind of get up and we continue to talk and
Great. Bye, guys.
all right.
Bye. Get some photos.
Do you want to? Could you open that folder underneath this pile of stuff?
Guys, I'm sorry.
Checking.
I'm sorry.
hang
I'm
on a
sorry. I'm
second.
inserting myself again.
No,
Yeah.
please.
Do
With all of
it,
your
do it.
timing, I brought
Oh, there's no timing.
gifts for you.
Gifts?
So that you guys can roll in style.
What?
in your
Wow.
Renaissance.
What is this?
There's all sorts of holders, and it's a rolling tray.
This is amazing.
And this is one of the things that our users can actually redeem their Strainprint points for. And
Amazing.
You don't even have to do that.
Sean, get a shot of this if
Yes.
you can. Just over there. That's amazing. Thank you, guys. And Noah's referring to redeeming points. Basically, go to strainprint.ca, figure out how it works. It really couldn't be simpler.